Hello everyone and welcome to today's live stream. Today is gonna be the first of a series of live streams. I've actually committed to a couple dates. The dates are in the description and on social media and on our website. And we're doing many exciting things. One of them is we will dive into animating something, and I'm gonna show you in a second the voice clip that I chose to animate these two characters with, which are characters from the Blender Studio. So these are free to download for everyone and to animate with. I've done so little 3D in the last couple years that I really want to dive into 3D animation again. So not sure exactly how much I can teach you about 3D in these live streams because I have to get into it again myself. But I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of acting related things, a lot of like body language topics and comedic moments. And I think that's really going to be quite exciting. And other than that, I had this idea for a timing chart tool, like an assistant tool that helps you to come up with the timing and keep your overlaps and follow-throughs planned right. And we might do some coding on stream, I try to not do it too long. I try to do mostly animation work here on stream. But we might have a look at this tool. So maybe you also have some wishes for what a timing chart tool could do that I could put into it. And last but not least, I wondered if maybe every now and then at the end of the stream, you feel a little bit like gaming. I got a Tiny Glade recently, which is a cool little cozy game where you can build your own like castle buildings and just relax a little bit. So we might do that as well. And as always, we can talk about any and all topics around art, creativity, and animation. So let's get into the character animation that I wanted to tackle with you on stream here. As I said, I wanted to get back into 3D. So we're using these Blender Studio characters that you can just download from the official Blender website. And I chose a voice clip from a show that I really like. There is this streaming service called Dropout, which at the moment is mostly unscripted comedy content, a lot of improv, a lot of D&D, which is really cool. And in this show, they put people into a costume. In this case, it's Brian David Gilbert, without knowing what the costume is, and they have to come up with a character to play on the spot, and that character is being interviewed, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm going to play the voice clip to you. You should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can't hear this. And this is the clip from this improv show that I wanted to animate. With this villain doctor. His name is Avery Goodman, which I think alone is really, really cool. So let's play that and see what we're working with.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Yeah, so I really love this character. I really like this little moment. And kind of also like that, there's a lot of truth in there that I think, villains never think that they're evil. They just think they are more right than other people. And I really like villains. So that's something that I want to animate. Now, we already got the rigs here. I already set up a little scene to play around with them a little bit. Let's plan a little how we would do this. Oh, where's the whiteboard? So, when I do character animation, here is how I usually do this. usually, you know, you have like a script or a storyboard, which in this case we don't have. We still need to come up with a storyboard, which will also function as a pose exploration. We're going to think about what poses we are putting these characters in. Then one thing that I do remember from my 3D time and my time working with 2D rigs is we should also do a little rig exploration, because when you're working with a rig that you've never used before, you don't know what all the controls do. And, you know, sometimes you have controls that... not sure if we have that here. Let's see on this character. Yeah, for example, you see we have like 1, 2, 3 hip controllers, and we need to figure out which hip controller is the one that I actually want to use and in what order do they work. Like, we want to explore the rig a little bit. We want to figure out how the facial expressions work. As you can see, there are a couple curve deformers here that we probably need to figure out first how they work. Oh, this must be a tongue that we don't see because the tongue is shader based. So yeah, exploring the rig and seeing how it works, very important. We should definitely set some time aside to do that specifically. So, rig exploration. Then we would go into thumbnailing. We actually might do that before we do the storyboard, or while we do the storyboard as part of the pose exploration. We're gonna make really small, tiny sketches so we don't get lost in details before it is time to think about details. So that's what we're going to do. All of this will hopefully end in something like animatic. I think we will have a little bit of a 2D animatic here, so that I know what poses I committed to. And then we will actually move into rough animation. So this first part, I think this is like where the meat of animation actually sits. This is where we do all the important decisions for the acting, for the clarity of the poses. We really put the foundation here. So I always recommend to not get nervous if you're not yet in the 3D animation software, because you know you might be working on a 2D animatic and trying to get the 2D animatic just right. In my experience, maybe I'm biased because I'm mostly a 2D animator, but I think it's worth to spend a lot of time, if you can draw, to explore your drawings, to explore your animation with drawings, do lots of thumbnails, and because, you know, there's some restraints that you have with 3D rigs. You know, the arms might not bend in exactly the way that you want them to bend by default, and you want to really not be limited by the rig. If you discovered something in 2D that you really want the rig to do, my experience is that you usually can force the rig into it, but you're not limited by what the rig naturally is trying to fall into. So, yeah, that being said, I'm not quite sure what would be the most interesting to get into first, if we should explore the rig a little bit or start with the thumbnails. I think today we're going to do a little bit of both. And I don't know, maybe we should just start with the thumbnails. So let's just grab a first part of the soundbite and start thinking about how we animate this. And you please let me know. I still don't have confirmation if you can actually hear the voice clip. That would be really cool if you could hear it.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
Okay, so let's take that first. Let's take that first part. Yes, Hilly, we're doing some 3D animation in Blender, and hopefully a project that over the next couple of weeks we're actually gonna get to completion. It's kind of like an 11-second club, little prompt. We grab a little dialogue shot and animate to it. And I really wanted to get back into 3D, so yeah, I jumped into Blender here. Those are some rigs that you can just download for free from the Blender Studio. So yeah, that's what's on the plate. Okay, so let's start with the very first thing. Thank you, Evan, for the confirmation that you can hear it. That's really helpful to know, because I changed a lot of stuff in my setup. Most importantly, I now have a tiling window manager, which is kind of cool. I can now do really cool things with shortcuts, and the windows are all put next to each other, and I changed a lot with the sound, so I'm not quite sure. On break. Well, I hope you have a nice break, Hilly. Thank you for saying hi. Hi right back. That's really cool that you use your precious break to chat here. Yeah, so let's jump into the thumbnailing. And you know what? Let's actually put this one next to the character, and I'm gonna put this window over in the other workspace. Okay, so we can always reference the character and maybe, you know, look a little bit around. I think that's actually pretty cool. I've never really done that, having like a 3D version of a character, but that's actually kind of exciting to just be like, okay, what does this character look from the side? From above, from below. That's actually pretty cool to have that right next to it. Oh, Evan, that's exciting. Starting 3D art school tomorrow. That's really cool. All the best with that. I hope you really enjoy it. That's really great. There's probably a lot you can learn there, and a lot of connections you can make and friends you can make. It's a really exciting time. That's really awesome to hear. Looking forward to seeing all the stuff that you create. Really, really cool. Let's play the first snippet again.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
Okay, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And he's quoting other people talking to him. So let's think how that could look. Let's actually grab a pencil-like pen for this. So people say, oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? Okay. Now this first thumbnail is not gonna be anything great. That's why we're starting here. So I don't know, maybe we have a little bit of like a little bit of like an attitude pose going on here. I mean, that's kind of cliche what we're doing right here. Kind of like me some asymmetric shapes. Let's see. Let's do a stance that is a little bit asymmetric. His really tiny feet. Okay. Let's play it back again.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
One thing that we can also do, I didn't even write that down. Maybe I should. So we really have that clear that is definitely a factor. Let's move Let's move all of that down because we actually forgot something really important. That in this case, the reason why I forgot is because, you know, it's already here, namely reference. Reference. Usually what I would do is I would shoot my own reference for something where, you know, if it's completely fabricated, completely fictional. I mean, this is completely fictional too. If there's no existing source material, is what I mean, then I would definitely move into reference. We could also think about some, you know, acting it out ourselves and see what gestures come up. But the great advantage here, and you might not always want to do this, like the 11-second club, for example, deliberately obscures the source of a voice clip a little bit. You can find it out, like they credit it and they link to it. You could watch it, but sometimes you might not want to. If you want to come up with something completely original, you might not want to look at the source of a voice clip. You might want to come up with your own gestures. So let's see here. But since we already have such a wonderful source, and I really love the performance that Brian David Gilbert gave here. I think what is really, really cool about this clip is that you can see that a little bit in the making of when he like saw his supervillain costume, and he improvised a couple like supervillain voices, like gruff voices, and I'm a crazy supervillain, stuff like that. And then in the end, he settled for a slightly more manic version of his normal voice, and I think that is really interesting because I feel like it makes it more haunting somehow, that there is a gentle evilness in this voice.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
So, what I find very interesting, look at how relaxed his eyes are. Like, you can see the lids being relatively far down. It's not like, he's not like, for example, he could be actively defending himself. He could be like, what? No, I'm not evil. But he is like a very relaxed, like, is there malice? No, there's no malice. And then throughout the entire performance, he's actually smiling a lot. This is actually one of the stretches where he doesn't smile.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
Here, you see, he goes right back to smiling, which he does most of the time. So that is certainly something we could be aware of and put into it. Where is my drawing? Like, for example, we don't really have this relaxedness in this pose. One thing we could also decide, we still have to decide if they're also sitting. You know, they could be sitting in a chair. Because, you know, this is an interview situation, and that of course makes it more possible for him to like just relax, maybe look away. Like, if that's kind of what he does in the clip too. He's looking away, like you know, opening up the space, and, you know, people say, and the people are like in an abstract surrounding. And then, you know, he would like be maybe leaning on the chair, and maybe we would have like a folded over legs or something like that. So maybe that's a direction that we still want to explore. I think it could also be kind of funny if maybe he's a little bit smaller. I think I also really like his body is relatively small. I kind of drew it too too large. And I'm putting the feet together here because, you know, like, you know, the man spreading stance would be like a very like trying to establish power. But I don't think he's doing that. He's just like, you know, I have power. I'm absolutely right. So maybe he like has like a more like, I'm just sitting here explaining myself. I kind of like the folded over hands. Those gonna be a little bit difficult to pose because, you know, things are getting a little bit of muddy there. We might not want them to be that muddy. Let's listen again to the voice clip here.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
Okay, for malice in that voice, he's actually looking to the right, very far away.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And they're never...
I think what I like, already thinking about the next big pose, and there never is. It feels like this is the actual part where like it's really like a defense, and I feel like for that it would make sense if his arms were down first to like now put them up. Like there really never is, and you know, we'll go more into raising the hand. So that's also what I like about thumbnails. You know, a little bit later we can zoom out and we can see things in context. So thinking about a modification, I think I really want to have that look to the right. So let's see how a modification pose of this one could look. It's also kind of like, you know, if you're looking away, you feel completely in control of the situation. You don't need to observe anything. You feel like you are on top of the situation, and you control everything. Isn't it a little bit of malice in your voice? There never is. Maybe there could be a little bit more tension in the arms. I don't know. If we go the more tension route, maybe there would be a way to like kick the little feet up. Maybe that could be fun to like there really never is to like really stretch it out. Abdo says make a 2D character. Maybe you should check out one of the or a couple of the previous live streams where we designed the girl Mila for a short film. There are a lot of character design tips and backgrounds, and I show my 2D character design process. Maybe that's something that you might be interested in. But yeah, today we are going to develop this this little 3D scene a little bit more. I also think maybe the angle is a little bit too harsh. Like maybe what we're looking for is just a little bit of like a 3/4, not really that much. And then we have the body leaning back, and we have this big mask, a little bit of the hair. Not sure he should smile yet. Isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? Maybe there's like a smile in his eye. Let's see if we can pull that one off. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Maybe maybe if we put what I'm doing right now, maybe that's not the best thing to actually do things in your thumbnails. To like erase things in your thumbnails. Usually what you would want to do is to make a new drawing so you don't get too caught up in improving your drawing, because that's really not what the thumbnailing is about. Yeah, I think I like that. I think we can have a like leaning forward, maybe with a slightly different eye expression, and then leaning backwards like that. So I'm not 100% happy yet. We're gonna make a cleaner version of the two, but overall, I think we're moving in the right direction. There's a question from Clara Thomas. Does the 3D character animation have the same workflow as 2D vector character animation? Well, if you talk about specifically 2D vector rigs, then there are definitely a lot more similarities to the 3D animation workflow than for traditional frame-by-frame hand-drawn animation. Things would be a little bit different there. I also think it's always worth to differentiate between the technical side of things, the technology workflow, and the thought process workflow. And to me, I would say the thought process workflow is actually the same in every form of animation. It doesn't matter if you do hand-drawn frame-by-frame, 3D animation, cut-out 2D animation, rigs in 2D, stop-motion. It doesn't matter. There's like a whole area of things that you always need to think about in any form of animation. Stuff like, what is the character feeling and thinking in what moment? What is the progression of the scene? How does the scene start? What happens during the scene, what changes during the scene, how does it end? So you have a little bit of a, things developing even during a small acting shot, for example. Then clarity of poses, finding poses that clearly communicate the emotion, the story, this clarity you have to find in any form of animation. So, for example, what we're doing right now, trying to come up with good poses and illustrating the words, that is something that you would have to do in every animation, every type of animation, regardless of what it is. So where the things differ is how do you use the technology, like using of like a blocking phase or something like that. How do you move from a storyboard to an animatic might be different depending on the form. There are people who draw timing charts for hand-drawn animation. 3D artists usually don't draw timing charts. Those things change because of the technology, but the heart and soul of animation should not change depending on the technology. Don't get me wrong, the technology part is still a big thing that can go right and wrong and can be making your life a lot harder if you don't know the right thing for the right technology. But the really important stuff is actually the same in all forms of animation. Hello, Matei. Nice to see you all. So let's get one more scoop of inspiration by listening to the beginning again.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
Okay, so ooh, isn't there a little bit of, and then malice in that voice, I would do the turnover.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of
This is everything lean to the left.
malice in that voice?
Lean to the right. That's actually what the actor did here, and I think I'm gonna copy that. So, yeah, we're gonna make a variation on this pose. As I said, I don't want it to be quite as 3/4-ish. I want it to be a little bit more frontal here. Probably looking down a little bit so we have about eye level. The question is, do we want to actually lean him forward? I think there could also be like a conspiratorial, like, you know, like a, oh, you know how it is. And I feel like for that, it would be really like, oh, you know how it is. Like, you know, with a lean, you try to like connect, you know how it is. A malice. Like, a lean forward, like inviting the other person, like I'm accepting your question, I'm leaning into your question. So that might work here. Don't forget we have a relatively small I'm not sure we already should do like the half eyes. I think they're like, should we do half eyes like this? For ooh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? That would be with half eyes. So we're gonna copy the pose in a little bit. And do a variation on it. So that is our first variation for ooh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? Let's try a different facial expression. This is something that I like to do a lot, where I keep a thumbnail that I'm happy with. I keep the parts that I'm happy with, and just change parts that I'm not happy with yet. I kind of like this one. Yeah, I kind of like this one. So we have this, and then we have the lean back, which I guess we could also make a copy of what we already have here. Evan says, I always do my key poses on a separate paper. I have a small monitor. Yeah, that's totally legitimate. And I actually do like to do that as well, to, if I can, have a little like notepad on the side to do scribbles, and not only scribbles, but also like timing charts. If I'm not live streaming, I would do that in a little bit, in a little notebook on the side. Definitely. Why not use good old paper? I think that's really really handy to. It's also easier to refer to, especially if you have like a small monitor or not a second monitor. I can recommend getting a second monitor because that's really helpful, really cool. But you don't need to have one, and especially if you don't have one, then putting things on paper is really, really recommended. Yeah, I think now it's coming to life a bit more. I do like the uneven eyes. We gotta see with the rig how far we can push that. But I think I really like that. So, I think we found our start. Hello, Maria. Nice to see you. How you doing? So yeah, I think we got a good start here. Let's listen to the beginning again.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
So up till here. Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? I like the smile because it's almost like, you know, whatever it is, I like it. I'm convinced of, you know, it's not malice. It's my thing. It's my whatever I am, and I'm happy with it. So really like that moment. Now, I think we're gonna next switch the character. The other character's now speaking.
And there never is.
Ah, no, it's not yet. Yeah, the and there never is part. So.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is that I'm...
I love that. There never is. There really never is. So soft-spoken and yet somehow threatening. And I think it warrants a lean forward again. Or like a straightening up. Like, you know, he's like, okay, I'm leaning towards you. I'm going into your question. I'm remembering something over here. I'm opening up the space to like... what was the... This is the strange thing. You can hear the dialogue a million times. I feel like I always forget it.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice?
Like, malice in that voice is over here. I like giving things location in the room. Like, you know, malice in that voice, he's not looking inward to find malice in the voice. Malice in the voice is not in him. It's up there somewhere. This is where malice in the voice is. And now for there never is, there really never is, I think it would fit to straighten up again. So let's see. And then the other question that we also have to get into is if we actually gonna, I think we're gonna have cuts that are very similar to how it's cut at the moment. Okay, so straightening up the body. I think we turn the mask in the other direction. Like I like to be aware of tilts in the shoulder. Let's maybe switch a color to, I don't know, green. I do like to play with tilts. Like we have a tilt forward, tilt backwards, and then we have a straight tilt in the shoulders, which I use sparingly, and maybe even here I will probably like, I don't know, like have the slight angle. Then we have the mask tilt that we need to think about. Yeah, I feel like that really makes variety where variety is necessary. Not always you need to change an angle strongly. There never is, there really never is what he's saying now. I'm wondering how intensely we actually do the gesture for that part. Because it's not very intense. It's more of like, you know, waving it away.
Malice in that voice, and there never is. There really never is.
See how for there really never is, the hand goes up. It's not like a there really never is. Like it's not like a strong like what you're saying is wrong. That's not the case. Like it's more like there really never is. That never is. Just waving it away. So not that much effort put into it. So use his right hand for like a wave. I don't even want to put like much of an angle here. Or we put this hand up, or we put both hands up. Both hands feels very strong though. Maybe we could have like a little bit of that hand come up and like a little bit of also, you know, what to do with the thumb. Do we want to stick into that negative space here? Do we want to make it one with the hand? Do we want to I don't know. We probably have to experiment with that a little bit more. I also wonder if his legs could actually get a little bit more stable, because, you know, why he's not in like a defensive position. He's like, there's a little bit more tension. I have to, oh, don't see the screen. With the hands. It's the age-old. No, there was no sound. Oh my god. I'm really... I am so sorry. I really have to get into the streaming game again. So yeah, not yet happy with the arms. So I copy this a bunch of times so we can experiment with the arms. Good that this is only the first one of many live streams. You can see in the video description I have a few times listed. Well, also will be streaming, and hopefully I will learn and always show the right screen and you know, like this professional streamer stuff. What we could also try here, so maybe there's like a more tension in the arms now. So, you know, before we had a little bit of like, oh, you know, very, very relaxed, and now it's like, I'm just a cute little guy. I don't do anything. I don't do anything wrong. I don't like how muddy everything gets in that area if you pull everything down there. So boop, 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 boop. Not so sure about that. Maybe we should listen to the clip again.
Alice in that voice, and there never is. There really never is.
There really never is. There's like a little bit of like a settling in there. So I don't know, there is stability in what is being said. Maybe with the hands together like that. Maybe with the arm on the chair. I kind of like this one somehow. Maybe we do try the double defense kind of gesture. It's extra strong. I like to be careful with like mirrored poses, twinning like that. We have a lot of twinning here actually, which, you know, fits to the stability that we want to create. Maybe there's also placing the hand on the chair. Okay, I don't know. What do you prefer if we say A, B, C, D, E, F? Which pose do you think is going in the right direction? Let's listen to it one more time.
Oh, isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And there never is. There really never is.
So what is...
And there never is. There really never is.
There really never is. What I also like in this one, he's looking away, he's closing his eye.
And there never is. There really never is.
And closing your eyes like this is also showing how sure he is. Oh yeah, Maria, you're actually you're very correct. Warned against twinning early on, but sometimes it's a deliberate character choice. I also think that in contrast, twinning is really effective. If you had asymmetric poses, and then there's a moment where a character goes into twinning, like there's stability in twinning. Like if you do stuff like this, like a lean forward and you're exactly in the middle, or you know, something like this, almost like a religious preachy or something like this, you can always break it a little bit, you know, do a little bit of a uneven uneven pose, asymmetric, to make it a little more interesting. I think we also need a variation on this pose, so let's do another looking away kind of thing. I actually wanted to grab the selection tool and there never is. There really never is. And for there really never is, we're gonna think about something new. So what we need to be a little bit careful with, what we're doing right now is we're going back and forth. He had been looking left, right again, doing this 2 times. So that is something that we might want to not do. Oh my god, I love this eyes closed kind of pose. And with the is, we could actually show his teeth. There really never is. And, you know, have this like waving it away kind of thing. There never is. There really never is. I think that's gonna work. That's gonna work very well. So we're doing a quick break right now. I'm gonna be back in a couple of minutes. Yeah, and then we dive right into more posing for our character. See you in a little bit. Okay, now let's get back into it. We can actually keep the music on if it's not too loud. Yeah, let me know if the volume is okay. And yeah, so I think we got this first part pretty well covered. So we got these two poses. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if we should go that strong with this one. So maybe let's think about a little less of a strong variation of this. So all that we do is we lift up the head. And that might give a little, make the other pose a little bit stronger, to already go into this upper, like basically the position of the pose after. Isn't there a little bit of malice in that voice? And malice will only lead to this lift up. Malice in that voice, and then there never is. Maybe this could be a little bit more of like a straightish pose, and then we have for what hopefully will be the strongest variation to reverse. I think it could also be interesting to lean forward and at the same time look away. It's a little bit of a contradiction, but might stress this how convinced and secure that character is feeling. So now we get into the other character. I think for real, we get into this one, and she is answering or probing.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
That's also very interesting. What she's doing here is she's or they are looking to the right, and then what is that I'm hearing? They go like into the room. Do the other people hear that too? Do you hear this too, right? So I think that is something that we might want in our poses as well.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
Or we actually go away from the reference and we go full into like investigative journalism, like what is that if I'm hearing, if not malice, leaning forward. We also, I think what would be very important in this case is also the start of the pose. I think the pose that we want to hit and the pose that we start in is two different things. So, the pose that we want to hit is probably something along the lines of leaning forward. I think I like the idea of like leaning forward a lot. Like, what is that if that I'm hearing for like fully like I wanna get to the bottom of this. So, full on like I don't believe you kind of thing. That is the pose that we want to hit, something like that. And I think they really do have like tension in their legs. Their feet are pointing up like we had here. The feet are relaxed and going down. And here there's tension in the feet. Maybe since we didn't do the sticking the hands together pose, I wonder if we could do that for her. To get a little bit of stability. And that's what I'm saying, like this is the pose that we want to end up in. So we still need like a starting position. For this pose. Like, where's the interviewer actually while listening to this claim that this villain has absolutely no malice in his voice. My chairs are getting worse and worse. So I feel like she might already be invested, so leaning forward. Maybe it's just a less strong version of that pose. Maybe a skeptical kind of listening. Something like this, maybe. I don't know how she can actually close her mouth. She might not be able to completely close her mouth. There might always be a little bit of a gap. We need to investigate that in the rig. This is what I said with, you know, we have to figure out how the rig works. We could also actually give her, I think the character in the show has like cards to ask the question from. So, I don't know, maybe they're holding the card up. So, maybe the feet could go up in that one. It's kind of generic. I'm not that content with it. So maybe let's refer back to the reference.
There really never is.
So what is that I'm...
She's intently listening in the reference.
It really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
It really never is.
So what is that I'm hearing, if not malice?
So, let's see. Maybe she could also be like a little bit appalled, like, what is he saying? No malice? Like, I know what I'm hearing, so she could be leaned back all the way. Like a little bit alerted. Like maybe in disbelief? There's a bit of too much strength in this pose. It's kind of cliche pose with like the finger to the mouth. So I'm not sure I'm gonna use it, but I think that might actually work, or something to do with the second arm. Maria says it sounds like she's getting worked up at the tone and word choice. Yeah, I think there's definitely some kind of like she's like baffled. Oh yeah, and he's doing that deliberately. Yeah, I mean, for sure, it kind of like this self-indulgent kind of way. Evan says, doing 2 characters at once was probably when I stopped animating. I can really, like, the jump to 2 character at once, I feel like is... oh, no, not short break. I still have the short break notice on. Oh, let's get rid of that. I'm a wonderful streamer. What I like about animating 2 characters is you have... I love the contrast of one character could be in one space of mind and another character could be in the other space of mind. Like, you know, you can actually play with having 2 different attitudes on screen, or, you know, it shot by shot. And I really like that. Maybe it could also be like a real like heh, like maybe there's like a very obvious like question mark already on her face. Like, what is this guy saying? Maybe crossed arms. I like that crossed arms kind of already infers like a previous scene where the arms got crossed. Wait, you know, something was already said that made this character cross her arms. Maybe this could also work for the lean back, because while she is leaned back, there is tension in the body. Maybe that's the setup that we were missing, to be like, there is a relaxed part about this, but it is there's like a highly skeptical position like this. She's not really afraid of him, but she's like super skeptical. I think I like that. I think we cracked it. Well, what do you think? And then we have some frames to get over into this. So what if that? So what is that I'm hearing if not malice? And during that she goes from that one post to the other. I think I really like that. So, seeing the old drawings here in succession, I think we definitely take this as the first, second, third. This is gonna be our third pose. Taking that. Oh, how does the selection work? It selects anything that's touched by the... yeah. No, we're gonna do a -3, -5, -10, -20. Yeah, I think this is gonna be our third. This is our fourth pose. Then we cut over to the interviewer and she starts here. So what is that if I'm hearing, if not malice? Good, good. We can also do like a micro change, you know, instead of that like gesturing around what is done in the original. We could just have like the micro change to open her eyes. To open her eyes a lot. So it would go to from this one to this one and then there. Maybe with a little bit of like. So what is that if what I'm hearing if not malice? And then malice is that last little push there. So suck, suck, there we go. Now jumping back into the scene.
If not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
This is the beauty of improv. I feel like the words are actually coming to him as he's saying it, and like improv can give you this weird sense of authenticity with the silliest things happening.
Simply,
If not malice.
it's simply.
Do you hear the tongue click
If not malice.
before he starts talking again?
If not malice.
It's simply.
Like there's a little bit of tension there that gets released, and it's simply being absolutely correct.
Not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
It's simply being absolutely correct. This is so nice.
Absolute. Being.
I'm hearing. If not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Look how he's hitting the words. I really love that, especially in I think this is a thing that Brian David Gilbert does in general. He moves a lot like a cartoon character. Like I feel like he hits all the right words that I would hit. Sometimes actors in real life don't do that as clearly, and when you animate something you usually have to bring out, like you have to sync up the poses a little more with the words because it's a little bit more muddy in real life. But what Brian David Gilbert is doing here is stressing the words on like a head nod is spot on.
Not malice.
It's simply.
Do you see that little simply is going through his whole upper body?
It's simply.
So beautiful.
It's simply.
This little extra push, it's simply.
It's simply being absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
And this is interesting because it's not correct. The word correct isn't stressed. Absolutely is the word that is being stressed. And this is a creative choice that we could do differently. You know, simply being absolutely correct. Simply being absolutely correct. But what he does is absolutely correct. And the correct is more soft.
Being absolutely correct.
And then absolutely correct is just a lean forward. I really like that. Being absolutely correct. You see, I'm absolutely correct. It's just like sinking in his conviction, in his correct. So nice. Being absolutely correct. Huh. It's so nice. I love this. Yeah, Maria, that really hits the nail on the head. As if the response literally being born right in him, and he knows it right on to aim at her. It's the right one to aim at her. Yeah, it's really nice. Like he has this moment with like getting the idea and then pushing it out, and it's so nice. And just let it sink in. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put my fact onto you. I love villains. I love it. Really, really nice. Oh, hit the right button here. Yeah, there we go.
That I'm hearing, if not malice.
It's simply being.
And the being, like he's putting the word out there as like a, I'll put this out there, and then I built my answer on top of this.
Being absolutely correct.
I think we can just copy this. I think we have to copy it. It's so nice. Like sometimes I do like to stray away from the reference if I have what I feel like a stronger idea for animation, but this is so on point, and the choice to not stress correct is so good. And you know, it's so cool that this is completely unscripted and just, you know, improvised in the moment.
I'm hearing, if not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Now, the choice that we do have, so for being absolutely correct, he's like leaning forward. Absolutely correct. There would also be the choice to lean backwards, like absolutely correct. But I think that's not so provocative. I think the more provocative one is like, I'm absolutely correct, leaning forward. So we would start back here. It's simply being absolutely correct. So I think that is the three phases that we have. The like searching back here, straightening up, being absolutely correct, and then have like this settle, like, there you go. This is my fact that I put onto you. Bye, Evan. Great that you could join. So, how does it start again? Oh my god, my memory really is not the best.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
See when the smile starts.
Simply being absolutely correct.
During absolutely, the smile starts. This is so nice.
Simply being.
I feel like this is as annoyed as he gets. Like this is like his low point. Like how dare they question me? It's so simple. It's so, why don't they understand? I think if we can get a little bit of like a villain violence in this moment, in this, it's simply being like, why don't you get that?
Malice.
It's simply being.
Yeah, so I would stress that. I would make it not so neutral. Oh, we should actually, I should keep this expanded. So, let's get him as displeased as he can get. It's simply, and maybe he's also like, you know, really looking away because this is so obvious to him. And now we can have the half-closed eyes that I think we already ruled out a couple times. Yeah, I think this is working. And let's think about what do we do with the... What do we do with the arms? Can we bring this like, oh, I'm talking to an idiot kinda into it? So, and we also need to think about a starting pose. How is he actually starting this? So maybe he also has like a very stable, like this kind of thing going on. That would mirror her pose a lot, but I like it. Then maybe we should think about a different pose for her. So I don't know. Let's open that up again. We're actually deciding far too quickly on a pose. I do feel like there is still some exploration that we don't get into. And I do feel like when I stream, I always feel like I have to rush, you know, because I want this to be entertaining and I want to find a pose as quick as possible. But you know, if this would be like a high budget film, I would really spend like days in this phase, creating like a 2D animatic for this thing, making sure that it could be that it is the best it can be. So what is that? If I'm hearing, if not malice, maybe it could also be like. I don't know. It's not that clear. That's a very boring pose. I did... Maybe we can get away with having two characters posed in a very similar way, but oftentimes I would avoid it. Good point. Maria suggests, could it be that she's challenging him and that the end pose could be a little more aggressive? Yeah, I think, you know, the character in the show, they are already really... They are also a character that is full of themselves. I don't think she feels threatened at all. And yeah, maybe being extra provocative could really be... could be a thing. So what would make it more provocative? It would make it more provocative to like do like the good old hip stance. There's something like if she comes out of the the heads being folded over like this, I think we could just leave one of the arms like this. So there's like a little bit of like a tense, almost tiny bit leftover of the defensive state, but then we have this clearly provocative one. I like this more. So let's make this our official pose for now. Let's get rid of that one. Hello, Minigun Games. Nice to see you. Yeah, and then I think this is it. I love this so much. This like, well, this like almost playful villainous thing. I think that works really, really well. So,
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
okay, so this is the search phase of it's simply being, and then when he gets the point of what he's saying, we need to change the pose.
Simply being absolutely correct.
And then I think we soften it up a lot for being absolutely correct. Maybe we should get into the absolutely correct pose first to know where we're going. So it's simply being absolutely correct. It's like, I cracked this. This is just how it is, you idiot underling. I understand how the world is and you don't kind of attitude. So maybe we could go a little bit more into absolutely correct. Kind of like white smile. Let's pull up the character here again. Simply being absolutely correct. And this needs to be as disarming and inviting as it can be. I think that makes it very threatening somehow. Maybe it's reaching out. Being absolutely correct. Maybe it's a little bit more self-assured. Or maybe he's almost like, I can't help it that I'm always correct. Like, I think we need to explore this one a little bit more. We could also fold his legs over. So we have this kind of situation going on. Being absolutely correct. Might be a bit too on the nose, but I'm not hating it. I think we are on the right track. There are a couple of questions. What do you use for rigging characters? Which is better to make 3D animation? I have to be completely honest with you. I do not rig characters. I'm not a rigger. I don't have that knowledge, at least in 3D. I can do 2D rigs in Moho and used to be pretty good in Harmony, but I don't rig in 3D yet. Eventually, I maybe want to get into that. I think there are a couple tools that you should definitely look into, because I hear them recommended again and again, like Rigify. There's like a cloud rig kind of tool from Blender Studio that help with that. So yeah, if you plan to get into rigging, always look around what people are recommending and talking about in the forums. What's the hottest workflow right now? There are also a bunch of tutorials on YouTube. There are a couple good books also about like principles of rigging. I think Living Puppets is the title of one of them that I heard recommended a lot. But as I said, I'm not an expert. Those are just some directions to look into. Always, ask in forums, look at YouTube tutorials, and you will find something. And, trying anything is better than not even trying it. The thing that what I know from rigging 2D characters, the moment you're done with the rig, you kind of want to start over. Because you learn so much about how this specific character would be rigged best after you're done with it. So you need to give up the thought that you inform yourself and make the perfect rig. You will, in the end, always think like, oh, I should have done that differently. And maybe then you're like, okay, I'm still going to change that. But very often, just doing a rig is what you learn the most. Just following a tutorial and then playing around with it and realizing, maybe I could have done it differently. So yeah. Looking at animation, trying to make 3D animations. Yeah, good luck with that. There's definitely a lot to explore and a lot of different techniques to use. So let's get back into the animation here.
Hearing, if not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
I love that this being, like, look how he steadies himself. Like, he has this, like, I'm looking for words over there.
Being...
And then for being, he's perfectly straight, stable.
Absolutely correct.
And then for correct, there's this ominous lean forward. Put that back. So, absolutely correct. Maybe we get a twinning pose for that, of just the legs being crossed over like this and the arms over the legs. Maybe that works. Maybe we could stay with the folded, like, brought together arms and build on that. I feel like I want to lean him over and over more. Because, this is a cartoon. We can really break his neck. Okay, this was too much. Or maybe just the wrong position. Oh, what we can do if we lean him all the way back like this, we can do like a... We can do this, clasping the arms together, the hands together like that. Being absolutely correct. I think I like it. Okay, then let's think about what we do in the middle. Maybe we can clean that pose up a little bit. Not sure it's coming across. Oh, I want it to come across. Okay, and then that moment that we really need to hit is this, where the thought is forming. So...
Malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
Being absolutely. We need a stage for being and absolutely. So here's the search phrase, is simply, and then we need one for being absolutely correct. So for this one, I think I really want to have him like bounce up, like straightening himself up and having like a moment of like hey, this is actually important. I'm getting it. I am seeing it now. And it's kind of like that pose in the hand is like dissolving. So maybe the arms are just... It's simply being absolutely correct. And maybe the smile already starts. I think the smile starts at the end of this pose. It's simply being absolutely correct. Yeah, I think this is how it could go.
Hearing, if not malice.
It's simply being absolutely correct.
And then the do you think?
Do you think?
Yeah.
I didn't get how provocative she still is.
Do you think?
Yes.
Yes! This is so nice.
Being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
So brilliant.
Being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
This is a perfect example from intensity doesn't come from moving a lot. Their intensity right now is coming from an intense stare.
Absolutely correct.
Do you think?
There's a tiny bit like there's a head nod, but there is not like a provocative like, do you think? Like that's something that I often see done wrong in a lot of student animation. They think intensity is like doing something with the arm. Like, do you think like that is intensity? But it doesn't have to be. It can also be like, do you think? That can be extremely intense. Do you think? Intensity in animation is sometimes not expressed through motion, but through stillness. And I love moments like this. So,
Absolutely correct.
Do you think?
let's see how the character could express that. And this is 8. This is 9. Then we switch character again. I still need to figure out where I get the chairs from. I mean, I could model something, but I'm really bad at, like, my modeling skills are, like, of all the 3D skills, that is probably my worst. I've done a tiny bit of rigging back in the day. And, you know, everything can be learned, but... So really unimpressed, you think? I like that with the mouth on the other side. Like, she had the mouth over here most of the time, but then, like, it's almost as if the mouth is also pushing. Love the angle. Definitely need to keep that. Maybe now we can give her a, like, kinda a pose with 2 hands. Or maybe like that. Or maybe actually leaned forward, like this guy's hopeless. Oh, yeah, Maria, I like that. Yes, if he was hoping to intimidate her, it hasn't worked. So she doesn't back away or lean forward. She meets his gaze. Yeah, it's like a stare down, essentially. I think we're on the right track here. Like, she is kind of ready. Like, she is like, oh, I'm talking with, like, she's having a duel. Like, she's not, there is some negotiation of power going on. But at the same time, like, I think she needs to communicate 2 things in this pose. Like, I'm ready, but also you can't touch me, you don't affect me as much as you think. I think I like this pose. Like, we didn't do a lot of exploration here. And maybe there's no tension in her feet now, because he did what she was expecting from him. So it's just a, like, you think, like, like, I knew you would say that. This is so interesting. So this is pose number 7. Not 7, 10. Pose number 10. And there's really not much happening. I think when we cut to her, she's already in the pose. And maybe it's like a slight lean forward or lean down, like settling in her pose. Yeah, I think all that it needs is to settle. And maybe for the mouth to come over from here. You think. And come over. Maybe the mouth needs to be a little bit bigger. You think? We can refine that later. Oh, and raised eyebrows. We do have eyebrows on this character, so we should definitely use them. And that's another thing, like lifting the eyebrows for you think, and then not think the eyebrows are at the highest moment. That could be really, really nice. And now he's doubling down.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
He also plays with the crowd more than he does with her, I feel like.
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just...
Again, opening the room up that she did. We don't have that in our poses right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use that.
a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
It is such a joy to watch this villain. So nice.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Being absolutely correct.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
It is a nice element, though, that he's just playing with the room instead of trying to put more pressure on her. Maybe because in his head, he doesn't need to put any pressure on her. Like, she's just, I'm right. I'm always right. Like, what do people want from me? What do these sheeple want from me?
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
There's also a little bit of like pride in like the...
Yes, I think that...
And like a manic, yes.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they...
And again, the closed eyes. I love that.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
I think I really want to hit that yes. And we kind of can't already hit it more than we did in this pose. But we're gonna build on it. We're gonna build on it somehow. So we keep him leaned forward. Now, what happens if you turn the mask in the other direction? Like a yes. Like just a wild smile. What do we do with that arm? It could also be like that in this pose, beyond a reasonable doubt that they were right. It's more like tilted in that direction, and when like, you know, the fingers are here. And then when the tension is, or when he goes in the yes, it kind of flips over to the side. I think we need to clarify that a bit more. This is what I really love, is posing in context, like thinking about what comes before, what comes after. Maybe something like that. And now we're dissolving a little bit into madness here with a wide open stare. Or maybe he's matching her lean forward. Does that fit to the voice? Let's check.
Do you think?
Yes, I think.
Do you think?
Yes,
Yeah, I think if we start in that pose. Do you think? And then yes! And then we soften it immediately.
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they... Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are... Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows...
So we go into a backwards lean. Ah, Maria, that's interesting. Maria says, I think she's got him a bit here. There's a stammer on I think, and he looks away. He gets back at the end, but he has to build again. That's interesting. Yeah, it's Brian David Gilbert in a Dropout show called Very Important People. The concept of the show is they put comedians in costumes, and the comedians have to come up with a character on the spot. And he's doing this awesome villain right here. It's on Dropout. There are some clips on YouTube that you can watch for free. But if you like improv and D&D, Dropout is really worth the like $5 or whatever it costs.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
Do you think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing...
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it could be both. It could also be like excitement. Like I think it could also be like don't you see? I want you to get this. But maybe we can make it work with our like he's trying to brace himself again. Yeah, the interviewer is Vic. She is or they. I think they're using both pronouns. They are really good too in not breaking for like the most absurd stuff. Like in Very Important People, like these people are throwing the most absurd things at her, and she only breaks character like a handful of times. It's really Okay, so this is definitely our push for it. Yes. And then I think yeah, maybe there is a little bit of like searching insecurity that we have to add there. What is he doing with the other? The other arm. Not sure about the facial expression. I do like the tension in the feet. You can do so much fun stuff with feet. Like express the like whole body tension. But let's think about the facial expression a little bit more. So let's get rid of that and really think about. Let's see.
You think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just...
There's this smile that never leaves his face. It gets a little weaker.
You think?
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
So maybe we do like a very asymmetric. Yes, I think what you're hearing is just a person. I think that could work. Maybe we should relax the elbow already. I like this. Yes, I think what you're hearing is a person who knows beyond all reasonable doubt, that they are right. So for beyond all doubt...
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just
I like that hand, just like, people come to me, like reaching out to the audience again.
Yes, I think that what you're hearing is just a person who knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
And the beyond all doubt, I really want to hit with a pose. Let's see, a person who knows beyond all doubt. And I feel like that warrants a lean back. That goes really... And maybe it's a chin forward lean back. Beyond all doubt. And the closed eyes are so important here. I think this is the first open face palm point that I give myself, because I think it's pretty good. Maybe we should also, I think we already folded the legs over here. Beyond all doubt that they are right. And we're kind of repeating the lean forward here again from earlier. So first of all, let's book this as our pose. And I think now I really lean. Maybe we have like a little bit of like a bringing the knees together kind of thing. And putting the arms over again. Kind of how we, like, how did we start? Kind of how we started. I feel like we're really warmed up a bit. I feel like the poses here are a lot crazier and more solid. But that's alright. We still will draw the character a bunch of times. Or maybe we don't need that at all. I feel like maybe he comes out of this very stable maybe it's also not that provocative. Like, he's so sure of himself. I don't think we need that lean forward. Let's listen to it again.
Knows beyond all doubt that they are right.
This last head dip on right.
Beyond all doubt that they are right. That they are right. That they are right.
How the mouth shape grows after the knot down. This is perfect. I can just... This is exactly how I would like to animate this.
That they are right.
They are right. I don't think we need to move forward, to lean forward that dramatically. It has to be more relaxed. It has to be more relaxed. So... They are right. Beyond all doubt that they are right. Maybe there's like an inward facing. Beyond all doubt that they are right. It's kind of boring. I don't wanna. Maybe he matches a little bit the touch to the face that she did earlier. Beyond all doubt that they are right. Maybe it's also like, right, like just opening it up. Who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. Who knows beyond all doubt that they are right. And he's kind of like presenting himself. Could he maybe own the space at the last word? Against the chair. Yeah, maybe we can try that. Especially because, beyond all doubt, he's kind of already doing that here if we keep that. So we could keep this one a little bit just like straightening himself up. And then the last one is really pushing into the chair. For the last one, he's really... in like a chin up kind of way. But they are right. I do like the opening up now. Like, here I am, and I'm so right. Illy says character feels very Nickelodeon. Yeah, it definitely has that vibe. I think that could work. Yes. I think what you're hearing is a character who knows without any doubt that he's right. I think that could work. Yeah, so we did a bunch of thumbnails and like went through the scene. We might have to go over that first pose again. I feel like in contrast is now not as strong as it maybe could be. But yeah, we're on a really good path here. I think it can't hurt to draw this again and really turn it into an animatic before we jump into Blender and work on this more. But yeah, I think we are on a really, really good track here. It's quite nice that we got all this done in 2 hours. That's not bad. Going through, let's see, almost 22nd. And I feel like we do have a much better plan than we had at the beginning. Yeah, if you like the way how I think and talk about animation, you might want to consider joining our group mentoring on Patreon. First of all, you can support us in general on Patreon, but we also have a special tier, which is the group mentoring tier. If you join in the group mentoring tier, you can visit a special monthly group call where you can present whatever you're currently working on. It could be an animation, a character design, a story idea, just the idea for an animation, and I'll give you my input, give you all the knowledge, tips and tricks that I know how to make your scene work and your skills better and more precise. So yeah, if that's interesting to you, maybe you want to check it out on animatorisland.com/group mentoring, or just have a look at our Patreon in general. Any support there is greatly appreciated. I have to admit, I'm not that good with the extra content yet. My hope is to at first strengthen the YouTube channel in general, have more live streams and more content here in general. I really want to bring back some life. So yeah, and any cent donated there, I'll try to put back into the channel by buying myself time to be here with you. I think this was a really lovely, wonderful stream, and I'm always looking forward to so many more. This time I actually already committed. You can see in the video description there are the dates for the next live streams. So yeah, in October I'll definitely be streaming a lot more. Tomorrow, an hour earlier. Tomorrow we'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern European time. No, Central European time is what it is. You can see all the other times and time zones in the description below. And I'll be very happy to see you again. We're going to continue to work on this. I also have this plan to create a tool to plan timing charts and to very flexibly add more in-betweens or move all timing charts for body and arms and legs at once, which is sometimes a little bit messy and tricky to do on paper. So yeah, I'm working on a digital tool to make this easier for all forms of animation. There are a lot of stop motion animators who use timing charts. I always use timing charts for my 3D projects as well, and I will probably do that in this one. Not sure if we get the tool as far to already use it on this animation, but maybe it helps to like inspire what features we actually need in this timing chart assistant tool. And it will be released open source when it's usable. All right. So, are there any last questions, remarks, anything to talk about? Yeah, so if we look at our workflow, we just ticked off the thumbnails, got this done, and next time we're gonna go into like a storyboard, which will turn into an animatic. We already got a reference looked at, and I think we found some nice things in there. So yeah, next time is going to be... Next time is actually tomorrow. Tomorrow's all going to be about putting this into an actual animatic. Really exciting. I don't see anyone jumping out of the bushes with some questions. So I think that's it for today. Thank you all so very much for being here. I had a lot of fun. Really liked your input and remarks during the process. It's always nice to see the ideas and input that other people have. So yeah, I really like if we get into a little bit of a dialogue here in the chat. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say. Thank you all so very much for watching, for being here, even the people who are just lurking. It's always really nice, and let's continue this tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, evening, whatever it is in your part of the world. Keep on animating, stay creative, stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.